Hi, I'm Chris. Welcome to my GameMaker channel. In this video, what we're doing is we're converting the game that we already made in drag and drop over into GML, which is basically a scripting language. And it's, to be honest, it's where all of my tutorials are going to sort of end up, just being GML. So this was a nice introductory game to GameMaker, and you get to learn some of the features and stuff. But now it's time to convert it over so we can basically customize it and make it a little bit better of a game. Alright, first object that I want you to open is obj puck, and it's the puck in our game, which is fairly self-explanatory. Okay, just move this over so I've got a little bit more working area. Okay, so we've got the puck, and the puck has the first thing we want to change over is in the puck we've got the create event, and the create event is something when the object's first created in the game. It's basically makes the puck move. So at the moment we've got one of these fixed moves in here, and we've got all of the diagonal angles ticked, and we've got a speed of 8. Okay, and so we're going to write into this just below the alternative thing for this. So this is the fixed move. So the thing we're going to replace it with, first of all, to make sure it all works and stuff, I'm gonna go to the action section here, and then in the action section, in the control tab, there's it says code, and then the first one, it looks like a document or something, and it's called execute code. So I'm going to drag that into there, and what this does is it opens up like a nice GML window for us to get started in. Alright, first thing I want to do is I want to write a code comment, and this is just text that comes up on the top of the screen, and it's not anything that runs or anything, it's just like a reminder to the programmer what this is supposed to do. So I'm going to write DnD, so for drag and drop replacement. Sometimes when I write these, they're in not very good English. That's okay as well. I'm special. Alright, and so fixed replacement for fixed move. Okay, and then under this is where we're going to write the code. So we're going to write, make sure this is all in lowercase, so motion, if I can spell it, M-O-T-I-O-N, underscore set. And what you see is when you start writing stuff and you start writing it correctly, you get this bit underneath here, and it's basically asking me what I want to put in. So motion set, there we go. And then I'm going to do an open bracket, and then in here I want to write the directions that it's going to move in. So I'm going to write choose, and then another open bracket. So these are the round brackets. These brackets are the ones that if you're holding down shift, they're above the 9 key on the keyboard, and this is these are directions I want. So these are like these are in degrees, by the way. So 1, 3, 5, comma 4, 5, comma 3, 1, 5, comma, and then 2, 2, 5, comma. Oh, sorry, not comma. Close bracket. So this is the one that's above the 0 key on the keyboard if you're holding down shift. Then I need a comma here, and then I need to write the speed in which I want the object to move, and I want to move in at 14 speed, which I think is faster than the one we had before, but I think I've in my notes I was tuning it up a little bit. So 14, close, and then on the end you do a semicolon, which, well, it's the semicolon key, right? And that ends the line out. Okay. Just to show you that this works, I'm gonna click this OK to save, and on this bit where it says this move direction, so this is the thing we're replacing, I'm going to delete that out. So all it says in here is this has its code comment, and it says DnD replacement for fixed move. And I'm just going to pause the video while I run this. So pause. Alright, so this is the game running, and as you can see, the puck is moving as intended. It's not always moving in the same direction. It's sort of every time it spawns, it's shooting out in a random direction, and it's going a lot faster than normal because basically I've upped the speed. Alright, so I'm going to stop this, and I'm going to go back to GameMaker to put in the next bit. Okay, so I'm back in GameMaker now, and the bit that I want to update next is staying inside of the puck. I want to update the collisions with the pads. So I'm going to open up the first pad, And what we've got in here currently is we've got a bounce, and if we look at this, we've got precisely and solid objects only. So we want to replace this with the correct code. Alright, and so what I want to do is drag in another code window, and then this, I'm going to do the same 3 slashes, I don't know if they're backslashes or not, but these slashes that are that way, and write DnD for drag and drop, and say replacement, code replacement is probably better. Code replacement for bounce. Okay, and then underneath this, I'm going to write move underscore bounce, and then underscore again, and this one we want to be solid, so I'm going to select solid, and then open bracket, and then in here, right, put the letter, or the number 1 in there, letter, and then a semicolon on the end. So bounce move underscore bounce underscore solid, open bracket a 1, then a close bracket, and then a semicolon on the end, and do this tick. So we just double check that this is the same. So precisely and solid objects only. So what the number 1 in there means, I think it means the same as precisely, so let's check that out. So I'm going to remove this. Alright, and because this code basically is the same as the one that we want in pad 02, I'm going to select this, right click, copy, go to pad 02, paste this into here, and then I'm going to delete the original bounce. Okay, and I'm just going to quick play test this to make sure this is working. Okay, so wonderful. As you can see, I moved the pads into the right place for starters. Whenever it hits the pads, it basically bounces off as it was before. Okay, so that's all working fine for us. Okay. Oh, by the way, the reason why I keep stopping the videos and running it and stuff like that is because I don't want you guys shouldn't have to sit through the compiling on that stuff there. Okay, so I'm gonna be right back. Alright, so I'm back now, and then in this bit here, what I need to do next is we're going to update the wall collisions. Yeah, so the wall collision is similar to this one. So with this copied, so copy, go into the wall, paste this in here, and then this is off all objects, so we need to make sure we change this part over here, yeah, where it says solid. I'm going to change this to all. Also, by the way, with these commands, they basically, if I've got this changed like this, you can see it's white, yeah, and that means it's sort of incorrect. Whereas if it goes to this orangey color, then it means it's written incorrectly. Likewise, you've got this this bit on here where it's got the number 2, or where it's got this bit. If there's an error in it, so like if I do it like this, you can see that it gets this red mark on it, yeah. And then when you finished it, it disappears, yeah. So that's something you need to look out for in code. The other thing that's sort of useful, as you can see when I highlighted over one of these brackets, it highlights the bracket that's connected to it. So if there's an open bracket, it will automatically highlight the closed bracket for it. So you've got to make sure in code that you've got the right amount of brackets. Anyway, this should work fine. And the next thing we want to do is we want to move on to what object? Let's flip over my notes. Alright, so I'm going to update the code stuff next. So the goals, yeah. And this has a little bit more code in it. So it's got a lot more things that we need to update on this, yeah. So okay, let's get started on this. So I'm going to go into here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste the code window in from before. I'm going to completely change it over, but I think it's a good starting place because it's got a nice note in there. And at the top here, so code replacement for scoring goals. Okay, I'm going to delete this code out here because this is completely irrelevant to what we want to happen in this, or I'm pretty sure it is anyway. Okay, and then we want to write the name of the object, basically what we're updating. Yes, so obj. So if we look at this, sorry, up here, we've got, when we score, it basically destroys the puck, then it sets the score, and then it creates a new puck. Yeah, so we're basically doing the same equivalent of that. Yeah. I think maybe in a slightly different order, but it should work just the same. Yeah, so obj underscore score, yep, and then a full stop, which it says up here, and then we've got to write score again, underscore p2, because when you score in P1, player 1's goal, player 2 gets the point. Yeah, so it goes into the goal behind them. Yeah. Anyway, that goes like that, and then we want to do a space, and then we want to do plus equals. So plus then equals sign, and then do 1 and then a semicolon. And what this means is it basically plus equals means that it's adding this number to this variable container, and it keeps adding 1 every time we score. So that's exactly what we want. Every time we score, you want the goals to go up. Yeah, so that's going to happen first of all. Then the next thing we want to happen is we want to destroy the instance of the puck. So we want to destroy the puck when it goes in the goal. Otherwise, it will continue to score goals regardless and never die. So this is going to be instance underscore destroy, I think. Yep, destroy, and I will tab down to that. Open bracket, close bracket, and then a semicolon on that. And then underneath that, we need to create a new instance of the puck in the center spot. Yeah. So this is going to be instance underscore create, I think. Yep, create. Open bracket, and then we need the coordinates of where we need to create it. And I think I can't remember what they were. For now, I'm going to put 640, 480. No, 220, sorry. There we go. And then the name of the object we want to create is obj underscore puck, and close bracket and a semicolon. And then basically all of this code here is the same as having these 3 nodes here. Okay. And I'm going to quickly pause it because I want to get the exact coordinates for these things, because it's going to annoy me otherwise. So just quick pause. Alright, I don't know why I didn't remember it from the last video, but yeah, it was when we're creating the puck again, we want to create it at 704 coordinates in the x-axis and then 320 in the y-axis. So this is all fine now. Also, if you want to remember things better, then you can write like comments on the end of lines. So if you do // just 2 slashes this time, you can write updates score. And then the next one, let's move that over there. Destroy, if I could spell it, self. And then on this one, create new puck. I'll tab these over because it can make it look neater. A lot about doing stuff in coding is about having neat code, or making stuff easy to understand. So putting comments in, even though the game doesn't run these, they're useful for us so that we can see what we've done. Like, because sometimes you go into code or you see code from other people and you've got almost no idea what's going on, even if you can understand code quite well. Okay, so this is my stuff. I'm going to close this, and then I'm going to copy this, and put it into this collision for the goal 02 and paste this one into there, right at the bottom. And in this one, obviously when you score into player 2's goal up here, you want player 1 to get the point, so you need to make sure that you update this part here to player 1, and that's all it had to change on that one, and do tick. Okay, and then I want to delete out all of these parts up here from before, so just remove these out. And then I'm going to do the same on this one. Alright, so I'm going to pause the video while I play test this. I'll show you testing it when it comes up, but I just don't want to show you the compiling. Okay, so this is the game being tested, and you can see I've already got a bug because it's creating lots and lots of pucks. Let's find out why that is. Alright, that was fairly embarrassing. What I realized was when I was deleting these drag and drop sections out here, I forgot to delete this one, so it gave me this weird bug whenever I scored a goal into player 2's goal. It created 2 versions of the puck, which is slightly embarrassing, to be honest, so I'm going to delete that out, and then that should fix that problem. Okay, and then I'm going to move on to the next part. Okay, so let's have a look. Alright, the next thing I'm probably going to be updating is the pad. So the pad's got some sort of big changes in it that I want to make, and it's more to do with the control system. So I'm going to close this, and then I'm going to open up obj pad 01, and this is the one that we're going to change first of all. Okay, and then once we're happy with this one, we're going to make the appropriate changes to the second one. So what we've got here is, at the moment, we've got a collision with the puck, and this is like our bounce back code that we have. So I'd like to sort of repel away from it. Then we've got the wall collision code, which is basically the same stuff really. And then we've got this press key and this stuff up here. And what we're going to do is going to basically get rid of these and do a better control system. So it's a little bit more work, but it sort of pays off in the future, and it's a really good habit to get into. So first of all, we're going to add our new event, which is a step event. And a step event is something that runs sort of every frame of our game, like with the frame rate kind of thing. So at the moment, our game basically runs at 30 frames a second. So this is going to tick at 30 steps a second. So it's going to check this every 30. Well, it's going to check it every frame for 30 frames in a second. Wonderful. All right, so I'm going to grab a code window and I'm going to paste this in here. I'll drag it in there, and then I'm going to write DnD code replacement for keyboard controls. Wonderful. And then I'm going to basically set up my keys. So key underscore down. So this is like a custom variable that we're using, and this is going to equal keyboard. I'm just going to resize this window because it's a bit small. Go away. There we go. Keyboard underscore check underscore pressed, because our keys were all pressed keys, or the type of key anyway, type of action that we wanted. And this one is for player 1, so this is basically W is up and S is down. Okay, so this one is, first of all, key down is going to be the S key, so we're going to do this first of all. So ORD, and then we're going to do an open bracket, and then we're going to do an apostrophe. I think it's an apostrophe anyway, so one of those single dash, those floating dashes. And then we're going to need to do a capital S, so it's really important that you do a capital for this, otherwise it won't recognize it. And then apostrophe, and then close bracket, and then a semicolon. Okay, once you've written that one for this line, copy it, or basically check it that it's right first of all, then copy it, Control C, and go on to hit enter to go to line 3, and then paste it again. Alright, on this section here, we're going to change this to up, and then the key press in here, we're going to delete that and push and hold, making sure that you're doing a capital letter. Put the W in there, yeah. So W in there, and then this, and then to neaten it up, I'm just going to put a couple of spaces here to line this up, because pretty code makes me happy. Okay, so this is what it's recording. It's basically recording whenever you push these keys, it records it into this variable. And this variable can store the value of either 0 if you're not pushing the key, or 1 if you are pushing the key, yeah? So that's important for us. Okay, then the next thing we want to do is we're going to go down a couple of lines, and we're going to write some if statements. So these are like test variables really. So if space key underscore down, and then we're going to do an open curly bracket this time. So these are next to, well, on my keyboard they're next to the P key, and they're curly brackets. So they've got a bracket, and then they got like a little bit that sticks out, and then they go down again, yeah. And these ones are like our start and end blocks for when we were doing coding before, or those sort of pyramid things that we were using. So I'm going to go down a line, and then I'm going to hit tab to sort of push myself in a little bit. Kind of like how it does it in the drag and drop. And then I'm going to do motion underscore set open bracket, and then it's going to be 270. So this is for basically for moving down on the screen, comma, and then we want to move at speed 10, close bracket, and then a semicolon. And then once you've done that, you can still see I've got this error here, and it's going to continue to give us this error until basically I put a closed curly bracket in there. And you can see the way that it does the bracket, it works out brackets. So if I look at this top part here, if I select a bracket here, it shows that this one's the closed bracket for it, and then if I select on this one, it shows that this one's the closed bracket that matches up to this. And it's the same thing with these curly brackets. If you select it, you can see the curly bracket closed one is down the bottom there, and then you've got a bracket there. So it's a good way of problem solving it. Like, for instance, if I had another curly bracket up here, which is an error, if I select it, it links to this one, and then if I select this other one, it links to nothing, yeah? So it means that basically we need an open one and then a closed one, an open one and then a closed one. It's kind of like a rhythm that you get into, okay? Then the next, we need to do another if statement, so we can copy this, Control C, go down, and a lot of stuff that you do in code is copying and pasting code and then knowing what to edit. So I've copied this, so we've got 2 key downs at the moment, so we want to change this to up. And then in this motion section here, this is the degrees in which we're moving around. We want to change this from 270 to 90, which is going to give us the motion of moving up and down. Okay, and then this is all the code that we need to basically replace everything that's going on in the controls. And what you can notice about this is if you compare this to these things over here, where you've got these 2 different like fixed moves things, basically you've got to look in 2 places to see what's going on. And in this simple drag and drop stuff at the moment, it's not that complicated. But if you look at this code here, basically we can see what both buttons are doing, and then we can see the stuff that both buttons are performing. Yeah, so it makes it a little bit neater and easier to understand, especially when you start getting used to seeing how code works. Okay, so I'm going to quickly play test this to make sure this is working. Oh, sorry, before I play test it, I'm going to remove these 2 keyboard sections. So I'm going to right click on this and delete, or cut, yeah, delete, there we go. And it asks us if we want to delete it, and we're sure. And then we're going to delete this other one. Yep, and then that's it. So we've got the code and everything's happy, or I'm happy. And I'm going to pause it and then compile it. Okay, so this is the game running again. And basically if I push the W key, wait, there we go. Push the W key, I can move up. If I push the S key, I move down. The other one's still operating on the old controls, but this one's working on the new controls. Okay, so that's everything working. So we want to make it so we can copy the controls that are on this one and then paste them onto this one. So I'm going to pause the video again. Okay, so I'm back, and then what we want to do is grab the controls from the, so I'm in pad 01, I'm in the step event, and then I want to grab the keyboard controls that we just made, and I want to copy them. Click OK, go into pad 02 and go add event, step event again, paste them in there, and then want to update them accordingly. Alright, so the difference is, there's not too much differences that we need to change, but what we need to do is where we've got this ORD S key stuff, we need to replace this with the appropriate code for basically having an up key and a down key, and it's slightly different. So I want to delete what's in there first of all, so I've got nothing in there, and then inside these brackets I want to write for moving down is VK, which are all lowercase, VK underscore down, like that, and then remove this section in here, and then I want to write VK underscore up, and you can see when they're written correctly they go red, especially if you're using GameMaker Studio. So just give you a quick minute to sort of check that out, or you can pause the video here just to make sure you've got the right controls. I don't have to change anything down here because this is all the set stuff that is just operating on whatever buttons we're using. So we can change the buttons here, and then the rest of the code will work fine. So I'm going to close this now, and I'm going to remove these 2 sections, so the up and down keys from before. Delete, yep, and delete this one, yep. And then I'm going to quickly play test it, so I'm going to pause this. Okay, so I'm back and the game's back. So player 1 moves up and down fine, and then player 2 moves up and down fine. The collisions at the top are a bit weird. I might need to fix that in another later on. Right, so at the moment this concludes what I want to do in the first GML video. I basically want to continue this in the second video because I think it's a bit long, and yeah, it might drag on too much just to cram this all into one video. So I'll be back in a moment and I'll deliver the second video. Okay, thank you.